Welcome in. Flowing charts here a little earlier today. I've got something going on in the last hour here, so I wanted to kind of get an early stream in here. Hello, hello. Um, the flow's kind of quieted down a little bit, but we can look at some flow from yesterday and some of the flow from today as well. Let's start looking at that Periscope and market tide here. Periscope right now, and if you guys missed it in the main chat earlier, we were really targeting around that kind of 9:30ish time there. We were really it was really kind of hammering on that upside gamma there, and we slowly moved up. We hit our targets there, and you can just see kind of how that gamma decreased there throughout that, and we're just kind of sitting currently right now. We still got a little upside gamma there. It kind of fell off a little there a bit, so we're kind of just chopping a little bit now. I don't know if I'd want to chase anything this late in the day, but yeah, we hit our target there. My range right now would kind of be between that 69.75 and that 69.55 there. So we're just kind of trying to crawl up there, but most of that positioning kind of moved up a little bit there. Little positioning down there at that 69.50. Market tide again, kind of like yesterday's, just overall very bullish here. A lot of call premiums, ask side and out of the money call premiums. Sitting ask side puts pretty much moving in tandem with the bid side. A lot of call volume coming in there, so very bullish market tide. A lot of names contributing to that today. Other than that, yeah, just kind of a quieter day. Silver calls today. So nobody's really trading this contract, so I can't really get a good read on that. But lease hitting 10% in there. IREN puts again 30% out of the money. They're slowly down a little bit. 117 trading about that one there, so about 17% of that premium collected. Yesterday's MU put sells. Great move on those so far. 238 they're trading at 110 now. Whales collected a lot of that premium there. And we were talking about this IWM put yesterday here. I was expecting that open interest to kind of drop off. It looks like it was actually ads here. So you had that original whale there on 410. All of that volume carried over, and then you had 4,000 yesterday. See, I was expecting it to be them possibly unwinding the contract or so on, or passing them off, but no, they actually added to that position there. If they're long or short, though, we don't really know there. I just kind of odd that they keep adding to that position, and I mean they're down even more today. This one I'm gonna kind of delete because we weren't really watching that one too much. Yeah, but other than that, just kind of quiet overall today. Flow's really quieted down. Those meta calls from earlier, I really like this flow, but I couldn't take it overlapping earnings. But yeah, these are already up 35.24, trading at 40-ish or so now. I mean, good move on those intraday. Everything just kind of pumping, and just a lot of chasers, a lot of overflow overlapping earnings. Yeah, I mean, just a bullish day. And I know you had AAL calls, so I know you're happy at open today. Pretty happy at open. Meta, these, yeah, it might be a shorter stream. I mean, that flow's been pretty quiet there. Yeah, and then you had the IWM calls too that talked about yesterday in the stream. So I mean, uh, that's always the nice thing, is you're done early trading on some of that stuff like that. Can't argue with days like that. How about these PDD calls? Kind of long term here. Yeah, and I mean it's. I wouldn't say you probably sold too early. I mean, you probably saw a good significant gain on those contracts. So hindsight's gonna always be 2020. But hey, As long as you didn't take like 1% on the contract, that's fine. But with that gap up there's, yeah, that was a nice little move there. Nice little move on those. Did we have any Noke flow hit today? They are hitting China flow right now, PDD and 180. I didn't like that flow though, because it's kind of little mixy there. You don't really get a good read on that. But now they're hitting those Baba calls. That's interesting to me. 37% out of the money, a little far. Just take a peek here. Yeah, I mean these look good, but again, you're gonna overlap earnings. Yeah, just a lot of call flow coming in, a lot of chasing flow, very long dated Baba calls here. Interesting. Let's take a peek at these. These might go on that long-term flow channel. Give me 1 second here. Let's just take a peek. And it's not the cleanest looking flow here either. So 45.77, then we see that IV drop a couple times and it rises. Yeah, not the cleanest flow there. Not the cleanest there. Yep, inside we don't really have much else coming in. Pretty much just chopping between our range there. Let's see, what else? What do we got cut yet? Pretty slow. I didn't want to cancel the live. But, you know what it's like. And these intels are really interesting. They do overlap earnings here, and we do have that second big hit here. Possible add, maybe. We want to double check that open interest tomorrow, but just a lot of volume on this name today. I'm just trying to look through the feed, and yeah, if you guys want me to check out anything, please let me know, because it is very kind of slow here. I mean, I'm trying to pick through as much flow as I can, and it's just kind of quiet. Yeah, those meta calls, just absolutely a good little find there. That flow, and like when we look at this flow here too, so you don't get the cleanest flow, but just kind of the way that it hits the tape, you can see it there. So like, we'll kind of look at this here. So I mean, you're getting that descending fill technically, but I'm just kind of looking. I mean, you're seeing that IV spike, and that spot is filling up the ask here. 39. Oh, yeah, it's just kind of all over here. I mean, typically with something like this, now if they were all coming in at the same time, I'd probably kind of pass on something like that. But again, this was 65 days out, 15 days till earnings, so it's just kind of interesting. You just see how that IV kind of pops up a little bit over time, and starts to kind of decrease a little bit there, then kind of increase. It's one of those kind of pieces of flow that you, with screen time, you can kind of understand, like, this is how it's hitting my flow feed in real time. I mean, you see how that fill is essentially increasing there that entire time. And again, that's a screen time thing there. It's very odd. Just, I mean, 34.20, and then they're filling up at $36 a contract there. That's typically going to be a bullish sign there, and that one just went in that risky flow. I know there was a question in the main chat about that, just due to that earnings overlap there more so. Yeah, everything else, yeah, just a lot of call chasing, very small kind of puts here, like these AMD ones here, 17 days. I mean, they don't overlap earnings, but if you look at it, I mean, just let's pop the results here. All right, let's do it like this. I mean, you see that IV increase, but you start kind of seeing that little decrease there on some decent premium there. IV comes back up. 950. It's saying it's a descending fill. Where was that descending fill? Right, and where's that descending fill? Oh, right there, 20 and 10. Yeah, this one, I mean, almost kind of a counter trend there. I mean, not really seeing tons of that put premium there. Not really a lot of asks. I'd put premium like potentially now it could be decent looking. I mean, you're 17 days out there earning. They don't overlap earnings. You are kind of seeing that call premium drop off a little bit there. I I just have a hard time kind of shorting right now. Just the market's had good momentum the last couple days, and the one thing though is, let me pop this up here again. Keeping an eye on that volume. Another low volume day, and if we just kind of look like at that daily SPY chart here, look at how much our 30-day average volumes kind of decline there. We've had really light volume, so that's very interesting to me as we're coming back up to all-time highs here. Just something to be aware of. Something to be aware of. Doesn't necessarily mean bearish, but we're going up on that declining volume there. So just it's a good rally, but it's not as strong volume-wise as like that sell-off there. Like you see that sell-off. I mean, we were averaging 100 million shares traded a day on SPY on that sell-off. We're averaging about over the last week about 40 million. So we're not even a half of what we were at that sell-off, and that's not being bearish or anything right now. That's just something to be aware of there. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, just pretty quiet. Hit the gamma levels. Market tide's still pretty bullish here, but premiums are kind of trying to curl up a little bit there. But again, so much participation on that call side right now. Not one to short right now. It's a big SPY whale that just hit here. Oh well, yeah. Let's look at your contract that you just dropped here quick. Some CI. So yeah, I think I saw these ones too. I might have posted those ones. I believe I've there were a lot of contracts today, but these I would say these look good. Let me pop this out here. Let's see. Yeah, I mean these look good. You get your IV spike when they come in. Spots filling at the ask here. Again, just kind of following this up, 8461. These look good. The only thing I don't like about it, and I know you're gonna know what I'm gonna say, you overlap that earnings by 10 days. And this, I know SMCI was one of the names in our gamma gaps there. That gamma has just been absolutely increasing on this thing for a while now. It's almost back up to that after that Friday drop there on that CEO news there. Yeah, let's see. Any flow on IoT? Yeah, we can look at IoT here. I want to pop out these SPY calls here quick, because these were kind of interesting here. So you got looks like an ascending fill here. We'll go in and take a peek. Oop, okay, so yep. That odd kind of flow where you get that kind of same candle after it. I'd want to verify open interest on this one. The odds are that most of this should carry over. But I mean, it'd be really dumb to get in there at 946 and sell for 4 cents more on a $2.7 million bet there. Take a peek at that internals and see how they look here, though. See if we get any context clues within here. So, okay, it looks like... Just trying to see how that flow kind of looks today. So, okay. Looks like that 1309 is when we start kind of seeing that flow come in there. So you got 1465, that IV's at that 946. So you are getting that ascending fill here. You see that 946, 947, 948. That spot price is increasing. Your IV is also increasing here. I would read these as a buy, but the part I'm not liking here is just slightly after that. These are almost coming in at the bid, so you are technically getting that ascending fill here, but they're filling closer to the bid here, and you can see it's a big chunk of size, and then premium as well there, and then you get that IV drop there. So I'm I don't want to say they're short. It's just kind of one of those coin flip pieces of flow where it looks good, and then there's just a couple of pieces in here that don't look good. How far are these out of the money? 1%. Yeah, it's just one of those kind of pieces of flow where it can go either way, where the internals look good, then there's a couple pieces that don't look good. I'm just not seeing any like big put action on here either. So like you look at the last 14 days though, I mean you're not seeing a ton of call participation. So kind of understanding that we're rallying on a little lower volume here too. I'd probably lean, if you made me pick, I'd probably lean there buying these here. I mean, they're pretty much right at the money there too, and very low multi-leg. And kind of knowing that you've had some call outflow here too, the last one, two, three of the last 5 sessions here, and I mean, there's just minimal call outflow here too. Um, yeah, no, and that's I agree with that too, especially going into earnings season. It could be a hedge too. It's that flow around earnings season kind of gets a little muddy just because you have so much of it overlapping earnings by like a couple weeks, and then you have flow that's obviously overlapping earnings, and then you have the big mega caps which impact the entire sector. So it's a time to be kind of cautious with your trades. You don't need to bet like full. Like usually during earnings season, I reduce my position size by a significant amount because I know there's like if I'm like let's just say I have QQQ calls and NVIDIA reports, and obviously NVIDIA reports after all the mega caps, so probably not the. Okay, well, we'll do Tesla. Like, let's say Tesla, I have like SPY calls, QQQ calls, and Tesla comes in and just absolutely has the worst earnings ever and tanks like 15%. That's going to impact the entire market. So that's kind of why I approach earnings season just a little lighter of a position. You don't need to be full, but you don't need to always be full position. Like always, just remember, sitting on cash is a position, and you're not making money like you're trading, but cash is a position. People don't understand that. You don't always have to be in a trade. If the conditions aren't right in the market, you do not need to always be in a trade. Okay, let's look at IoT here. So I always go off on a ramble here, but it's important stuff. A lot of people don't talk about the stuff either too, so it's nice to know about it. So IoT, let's do just a kind of blanket overview on here. So we are seeing some call premium here. The last, let's see, one, two, couple sessions here. So the 9th and yesterday, we had a big drop in put premium on the 10th. I want to go look at the 10th here actually. So it looks like it's probably this one here that caused that. Yeah, it looks like this was closed out. So that was your big drop in that put premium there. And it looks like it's a multi-leg. So it looks like they actually rolled those out to this week here. Call wise, what day did we see those calls on? Let's come back here. So we had some calls yesterday. Oops. Go back. So the 13th. We'll look at the 13th here. Let's look at the call that kind of came in. So it looks like it's that 618.30 call that caused that spike yesterday. And this was 1,300 contracts. We didn't have that full open interest carry over, so that's interesting to me. I don't see any volume after that. I would maybe check this one tomorrow. This could have been a reporting issue, possibly. I just don't see. I mean, after the 1,300 contracts, I don't see any volume to really show anything kind of coming off there. Let's just see. Was this all at the same time? 956.28. You know, it beats strange. Anything can happen, but like if we look at our time here from yesterday, just kind of seeing when that flow all. What are you doing here? Why'd you do that to me? Okay, let's see. Okay, we'll do it like this again. So that's why timing's always important. Like, I mean, it's about 12 seconds later there, 13 seconds, about 30. I mean, like, that's why the timing's not all the same here. So maybe a bunch of contracts just changing hands within this 30-second time period, 15, yeah, about a 35-second time period there. I mean, it's possible. It's just kind of odd to me how that shows up. So we do have some prior open interest. Let's just see how that kind of looks here. It could be related. Yeah, just kind of one of those odd pieces of flow there. Add contracts drop off. Yeah, that's a very odd one. Just a very odd one. So I wouldn't say I see anything on that call there. Let's go back to the ninth now and see what caused that spike. Was it this guy? Did we have put spike here on the ninth? So okay, we had a little put spike there on the ninth, but we were looking for calls possibly. So it looks like this was your put spike there on the ninth. Those made a move and then kind of sitting green still. Looks like that oil's still in. Then that call one here too. 245, yeah, just slightly flat on those ones. 64.94, yeah. I mean, like these look good here. I mean, your IV spikes when they come in, spots filling with the ask. These look pretty good there. You're just kind of getting a lot of. I'd say you got more bullish flow coming in. When do we have earnings on this name? Let's see. Oh, we don't even have until June. So, man, that's. I kind of like those calls. Let's just see. Yeah, negative gamma, but we're already kind of there. We got a lot of action on that 29.5 call. So big bid side whale on that. I wonder if this looks like a call from. Oh yeah, these look like a sell there. I mean, they are 12% out of the money with 3 days. Yeah, those look like a sell there. How about that 6/18/30 call? So yeah, that's weird because it's market. I wonder if that. Yeah, there's got to be a reporting error with that because your volume and then yeah, something's got to be with that. There's got to be a reporting error. How about that 12/18/46 call? Just nothing super interesting on that one. Yeah, I'm gonna say for IoT, I'm not really seeing too much. Maybe that 20. I'd like to know if this is a reporting issue on this one because this flow did not look too bad overall. 14% out of the money with 65 days. And the reporting issues come from the broker, so like until that gets updated, we don't see an update. This is one I'd maybe check in on tomorrow, see if there's a little X in there and talks about like a update transaction type thing there. Yeah, other than that, yeah, I'm not seeing too much on that one. What do we got for open interest? Yeah, I mean there's a lot more open interest on your calls. How about let's just do a quick little drive-by look here. Yeah, I mean you got some. Your net gamma is Yeah, no, that's a good one to look at. Good at. I like those kind of odd name ones because you don't always see a ton of flow on it, so it can be some good hidden flow. But yeah, I'm just kind of looking at the net gamma by expiration too. It does kind of favor some bearishness too, so I'd be cautious. Yeah, a lot of net gamma on those put strikes here. Refresher there. Yeah, I mean it's favoring those puts a little bit more. I mean, just kind of see how it's all negative in there. Yeah, I'd be cautious. I would be cautious. Oh, hey, we are dumping a little bit. No, I see. So that whale's probably up a little bit on their puts, I bet. Just a little bit. But yeah, you could see how. Should come back here. Should have stayed on Periscope. But you could see how price was at this kind of. Oh, we were in the middle of the negative gamma there, so excuse me on that one. I thought we were up here a little bit more at that 69.75. But you can see how we're kind of selling off right now, just faster. That's what that negative gamma does here. It pretty much speeds up the move there. So I mean, we fell out of that middle of that negative gamma zone pretty quick there, and we are coming to the bottom of this 69.50. So if I'm still bullish here, maybe I want to scalp this up. I know that range is, get out of the way, from that 69.75 to that 69.55 there, so you're within that range. So like now what I'm doing here is I'm looking for that 69.50 to essentially bounce here and slow that price and kind of bounce back up a little bit. I'm keeping an eye on our SPY premiums there, so net call premiums slightly popping a little bit there on that bounce, put premiums kind of dropping. And our market tide is still pretty bullish overall. So I mean, it would not surprise me to see us kind of bounce a little bit out of here and maybe at least re-enter that negative gamma zone a little bit there. We should have, we got about 6 minutes for an update. I was going to say I'd like to see what that update's going to look like here. So it's kind of dropping off a little bit there. Holding still positive. Yes, they are. Yeah, if we don't hold this 69.50 though, I mean, your next little target would be that 69.35. But I think with that positive gamma up here, unless it falls off majorly here at the update, I think we bounce back up into that. So I'm not seeing a ton of put participation. Still have that strong volume here. You can see we're just kind of trying to bounce off that and zoom in a little bit. See if you can see a little more of that price action there. But the way I like to think about this is when price gets... So price likes to gravitate essentially to that positive gamma. So like if we go back to earlier in the day here when price was trading way down here at that 69.20, you had all that positive gamma up there, 69.50, 69.45, and you just see it growing here too. So I mean, that significantly grew. So that's a really big telltale sign there that they're growing that position there at 69.50. So price just kind of comes up there. You don't see really any positive gamma down here. You got the little one, but that upside outweighs that downside. And we just kind of crawl up here, crawl up. It's a slow crawl up, and we eventually hit our level here. And I know somebody was asking for a possible short. I believe, I don't remember what time that was at. But yeah, no, it's the Periscope's a nice tool just to kind of see. I want to see what that update's gonna be here in a couple minutes. We'll do a quick market tide look again here too. Yeah, I mean your put premiums are trying to curl up there, but their calls are kind of trying to roll over there. So I mean, I would be, yeah. So I'm seeing those put premiums spike a little bit here too. So I mean, just we can watch this in real time here. We'll wait for that update here at about 1:32. Oh man. It's kind of watching here. Yeah, just these slow days. Just I'm hoping, and again, I hate repeating myself a million times, but it's gonna be probably slow again for the next week until we at least get through that big chunk of mega cap earnings. But hey, when it's slow, I honestly think that's a really great time to kind of learn a little bit as well. You might not have a ton of flow. You're not going to be overwhelmed with flow, but hey, it's all a good learning experience. But we will so I'll still always do my lives even during earnings. Earnings season we can always look at earnings moves too. I'm not a big earnings player, but we can always look at earnings moves. So that's not a problem. TWLO, I gotta look at these here quick. They're coming in quick, and then we'll check that thing. Ooh, these are interesting here. Right at the money, 3 days out. Oof, these look interesting here. Let's take a quick peek at these. These might be going in that flow alerts channel. Let's just do a quick look here. Alright, so this is our first 73.26. Let's just follow this up, make sure it fills at the ask here. What is going on there? So 280. Okay, so this isn't above the ask at all. When you see that like weird fill, kind of like when it's above the ask there, oh man, these look good, but man, I kind of don't like how that spot's bouncing around here. These are going in the risky flow. These do look very interesting though. Definitely interesting flow. I just don't like how that fill was kind of goofy on those. All right. Let me just pop this in there quick, and then we'll pop over to Periscope here quick. All right, pop back to Periscope. So we should be getting that update here in about a minute. So we'll see. Just keep an eye on these positive gamma bars up here and the gamma bars down here. See if anything changes down here as well too. So we'll see there. I'm sure Rich Dog's in there taking those those TWLOs I just posted. I know you like those close at the money short expirations. That flow just did not. I thought it was going to look a little better. It did not. All right, we should begin our update here in about a 30 seconds or so, 10, 15 seconds, 2 after. Just waiting to hear my ding on these and see what that gamma does. Alright, so we had our update. So you saw how our bars initially kind of changed here. So let's kind of look at some of the changes on here. So that upside gamma, so that little white dot that you see there, that's where that gamma bar was previously at. So that gamma shrunk there. That's typically not a good sign for more upside momentum there. That negative gamma also did kind of decrease a little bit there too. Didn't really see anything increase down here that much, nothing significant. This kind of dropped off a little bit there. I think we might hang out about the 69.50 for a little bit. We might hang out in that 69.50-ish for a while. We'll see what the next update is here and just kind of go from there. But yeah, they're moving that positioning. They're closing that positioning essentially there. You're seeing that positive gamma drop off. It's typically a bearish sign there, and I could see it. I mean, we have to get through this 69.50 here, but I'm just kind of looking. I mean, market tide, your puts are they slightly came up, just not enough though to kind of go full bearish on anything. I'd really want to see that call premium kind of start to roll over and some of that call volume to kind of drop off. But your SPY put or your SPY premiums, you are kind of seeing those put premiums tick up again. Again, calls are now bid side too, but you still have a lot of that call volume in there. So I'm very hesitant to go short there. If I was to go short there, I'd want to see us maybe drop below that 69.50 and turn that into like a resistance spot there. So if we dropped below it there, came up, tested it, I'd maybe look to possibly short there too and then play that to that 69.35. We'll see what happens here. We're not really getting a lot of flow coming in. And yeah, you see why this one would in that risky flow. I mean, that was almost a bottom tick for that whale there. That flow was just not the cleanest looking flow there. I mean, you just see it kind of decreasing. These could have been that And it's a horrible spread too. Yeah, that's just a very odd looking piece of flow. Maybe it dumps tomorrow. Who knows? But that's just kind of that some of that flow. It's in that risky flow, and it's starting to kind of turn over a little bit now. We'll see. I'm not going to talk about it much more right now. Marvel puts don't overlap earnings. 1% on the money. 1% multi-leg. Kind of small volume though. 410K whale. Take a peek here. These actually look pretty good here. These look pretty good here. 64.66. We start out at the bid. IV rises to 65.48. Spot price rises 65.48. 66.16. Oh, these look pretty good. These look pretty good here. These are gonna. Then you got another. Yeah, these look good here. These look like they're buy to open. These are going in the flow alerts channel here. These look pretty good. And I do like that put premium starting to rise here. And I know, whenever y'all will pop that in there in a second. This thing has up 24% on the week. I mean, odds are you should see a cool down, and they're only 1% out of the money too. Okay, let me pop this back over. Yes, these will go in the flow alerts channel here. Doesn't necessarily always mean everything's going to be bearish, but could see a small little pullback, especially after a big move up like that. All right, let's pop these in there. All right, and then let's see what you sent me. JD, I did not cover these, and it does look like it's a big multi-leg trade here, just kind of right away. Whenever you guys see that kind of double arrow thing there, gonna always mean it's a multi-leg. And if you see that weird like circle next to the multi-legs, that means it's involving shares. I don't have an example of that right now, but these, so kind of first glance here, they look good because you get that IV spike. That spot's filling technically at the ask. There's not truly an above the ask. Let's just kind of look at this here. So possibly related. So two-leg trade. Looks like they're rolling those out possibly here. 417. They're both kind of coming in at the ask. Short diagonal bullish call spread. So I'm not a spread trader, so I usually just pop them in the option profit calculator just to kind of get an idea. So it is a bullish spread there. So I would say those look good if you're a spread trader. I'm not a spread trader, so please don't ask me about the spreads. But yeah, I would say those, at least according to the profit loss calculator on what we pulled in there, I would say those look pretty good in there. Pretty good on those. All right, let's see how we're doing on Periscope here. And we can go, I was planning on getting off at 2. I for sure have to be off by like 2:15, but we're getting some decent stuff in here. So we can hang out for about 2:15 or so, so about another half hour or so. And feel free to let me know if you want me to take a peek at anything. But kind of a good example here too. So we were looking at that 69.50. So before that came, I kind of dropped off. I was saying, look for that as that possible kind of support spot there. Support that price slows down, and you're getting kind of a little bounce there. But now if we let's just come back here before that update. So if that our gamma levels would have stayed the same, that kind of would have been a little extra confirmation there, because we would have came down to that positive gamma, and you're seeing us kind of bounce up maybe towards that positive gamma. Again, you didn't get that kind of full read there because some of that dropped off there, but you didn't really see anything build up down there. So we'll have another update here in a couple minutes. Let's just kind of see what else we got. Market tide, yeah, just no changes there. Amazon calls here again. Just a lot of hits on this today, and we definitely kind of want to see what's going on with that tomorrow on the big multi-leg there. Yeah, Iron, we can take a peek at that. I think I had some more flow hit on that one. Rich Dog can tell you about Iron. That is a good one for him. Let's see, the 5.855 call. Everything else looks to kind of be multi-leggy here. Yeah, that was a massive move on that one that you got there. These higher multi-leg's not too bad. Let's just see. So we have 769. I just want to see how that prior kind of open. Okay, so looks like it's gonna for sure be an opener here. And again, keep in mind we're up almost 10% on the day. Probably don't want to chase that. Let's see. Let's go find that here. I mean, flow-wise, though, just strictly looking at the flow, I mean, you get your IV increase, your spots filling with the ask. Again, I love that fill versus spread because I can just eyeball that all the way up, too. And, yeah, I mean, these look, I would say these look buy to open. I mean, they filled at 219. They're trading at 230 right now. So, I mean, you're up about 8%. You'd be chasing something that's up about 8% on those contracts. And again, I don't know if I want to chase something that's up almost 10% on the day. Let's see what else we got coming in for IREN. And then we'll hop over to Periscope here too. Yeah, I mean, just kind of face value wise, looks like most of your weekly stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing kind of a face value check here. Yeah, it's your flow's looking pretty bullish on that still. Oops, I don't want to go 30 days. I want to go 14. Yeah, I mean, that thing's you're pretty extended here. You are seeing a lot of put premium kind of drop off though, so I mean, you're not really seeing any bears in sight. No big bears in sight. All right. Yeah, I'd say I'd still lean probably bullish on IREN. You just might be able to get a better entry on something like that. Just with that, I get hit. You know how I am with the chasing. All right, let's see. We should be getting our update here. So again, keep an eye on the right side here from down here in the middle. So we want to see how these candles change in our update here in about a second, couple seconds or so. I need to get that Jeopardy music going when we're waiting for that update. I'm coming right back into that positive gamma. But like you see how price likes to kind of gravitate towards that bigger positive gamma here. Waiting for our update. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that update is because that call premium is kind of dipping a little bit and your put premium slightly ticking up again. I'm very curious to see that. Did we update it? I just did not see it. Am I nuts? Am I crazy? Oh wait, no, was that not 10 minutes? Am I crazy? No, we did get it. Why did it not update? Am I just nuts? I don't know if it updated. I didn't see any gamma changes there at all. Interesting. It'll probably update when I go to a different. Let's see. Oh, okay. It was just very, very small there. I was like, I don't see anything there. So let's just kind of look at it here in that 10-minute time span. So that gamma kind of grew slightly there, just very, very slightly. And that upside gamma I mean, there wasn't really a significant change in that either. So that's why we didn't see. I was sitting there staring. I'm like, I don't see the thing. We can pop it over to tomorrow's expiration. Oh, they are positioned up for tomorrow right now. Tomorrow's expiration, they are targeting that 70-25, 70-30, and 70-35, and 7,000. A little on that 6,900 there too. But most of that pot, so like this is tomorrow's expiration. They're targeting up, so like now we'll pretend it's tomorrow right now. And if you guys tune into Whale Watch tomorrow morning, we'll probably be scalping this too. Like if I'm sitting here and this is tomorrow's expiration, I'm looking for a potential move up here just because I'm seeing that upside gamma there. So some of that gamma is kind of falling off right now too, but just kind of for the sake of like just that visual there, like you can see how there's all that positive gamma up there. Price likes to kind of gravitate towards that there. So like right now though, I'd say this is, I mean, more of a bullish periscope here, but you do kind of have that positioning at that 6,900. So I mean, you could see kind of a little volatility within there. I mean, would be kind of looking for it to pull it up more so there, but we'll see if we get an update here on in about 5 minutes. We'll go back and look at some flow. AMD puts coming in. These are look like a mid fill. Yeah, just kind of a lot going on there. Don't know what's what. APO. So 18% of the money. So again, overlaps earnings. You're gonna hear me say that a lot in these streams right now. 618, 135 call. Just because they overlap earnings though doesn't necessarily mean it's earnings related. Again, this is a June contract. Earnings are in May. Probably not earnings related, but it's just that risky aspect to it because you overlap earnings and you can get caught in that drawdown. Yeah, no, we are live at open there, so it's Nick's very good at like the Periscope stuff. He's been using Periscope for a long time, so he's very good at using it there. And it's just like this. It's just with another host, essentially, and we just kind of talk flow, take requests, the usual stuff there. And we are actually going to be starting at a half hour before open tomorrow, and we'll be kind of going through some open interest updates and so on. So kind of expanding that. I wanted to start doing a morning stream of open interest updates, so that'll be on Monday and Wednesdays here. Actually, I think the 8 o'clock one starts, next week. I need to actually, thanks for reminding me, I'm going to message him. We doing 8 tomorrow or starting Monday still. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I know we were talking about it, but so like let's take a peek at these. So like these look pretty good here. I mean, your Ivy spikes when they come in here. Ivy was up a little bit here, but kind of drops a teeny bit there. Again, Ivy spikes when that comes in. Ivy increases here, spot prices increasing, so these look pretty good to me here for the most part. I will throw these in that risky flow, and then, I mean, you just see kind of that trailing flow here. I mean, 34 seconds later, more than likely it's related to that. I mean, these look good. Again, just kind of risky though. I mean, you're up a little over 4.25. You have the earnings there, but I will throw this in that risky flow channel. This one does not look bad. All right, let's pop this in there. Yeah, a lot of that risky flow, but that risky flow is just kind of more so flow that I'm probably not going to take, or if I do take, it's going to be a very quick trade on something like that versus that flow alerts channel where it's a actual normal position. All right, let's see what he said. Okay. Nope. So that open interest thing will start on Monday. So tomorrow will be our typical at open show, and then we'll do our normal thing, and then Monday and Wednesday next week we'll be starting about a half hour before market open, go through open interest updates, contracts, and all that stuff before we open. So that'll be a fun little addition there. Little addition. Additions are always fun. So we got cat earning flow here. Let's see. 51750 put, 15 days. So earnings flow. Yeah, no, we can look at the daily gamma. Just hop in, you know the deal. Ask questions. We're there to answer questions and all that stuff. Let Pony. Yeah, we can look at Pony here for you. Also, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll tell you one thing though, Lauro, about your profile picture. I do not like. I'm a Patriots fan, so like that Eli picture just kind of gets me a little bit. I don't mind. I actually, the funny thing is Manning cast. I constantly will watch that on Monday Night Football. I can't stand the regular um, telecast there. I love the Manning cast. It's actually really good. So 10 put for 5-1. So this one, good example here. Good example that you pulled in here. So we had that original 2,500 contracts come in today. Let's just look at that, how it came in real time. So, okay. So we got that 87.36. Spots filling up the ask. A little wider bid ask spread. Let's just take a peek. So that IV kind of drops a little bit here. And then we just kind of stick at that 84.40. So I'm kind of looking at this. So in real time, if I was kind of looking at this, I'd be questionable kind of with that IV drop there at the end, and it's kind of a big IV drop there. And I mean, your price kind of drops on the stock a little bit there, but it's that kind of a descending fill there. Descending fill, maybe if I had read that would help there. Doesn't overlap earnings, so it's not earnings related. 46. They're trading at 76 right now. So, I mean, kind of a good example there where, I mean, I'm looking at that in real time. And you just kind of get that question mark there on that flow where that IV was decreasing. Now, for the most part, again, we looked pretty good. So this coming in at that 11.05. So it looks like this is your cause for that spike in that put premium there. And it was a big chunk of that total premium there. I think, though, so just kind of some math-wise here. So that big whale was 2,500 contracts. You got 1150 there, another 900 there, so you're at 2,000, 3,500. I mean, you're getting kind of some of that extra volume in here. It could be, this is one that I would want to double check from this point now, obviously. I'd want to double check that open interest in the morning, because is this whale selling those contracts from that original 46 entry, selling them at that 55, 63? Are they passing them off to somebody else? I'd want to double check that open interest there. We can look at that 581 for you too. But yeah, just kind of, I want to go one more time in here. Yeah, if you want me to look at flow, please drop it in there, and I have no problem looking at it. But yeah, I mean, just kind of real time, and obviously hindsight's gonna always kind of be 2020, but like if I'm seeing this in real time when that comes in there, your IV spikes, you're filling at the ask. I just don't like that, how that kind of dropped there at the end, and then you just kind of see how some of that bid side stuff came in. Oh, that's the second batch of volume. Ignore that one. But yeah, I mean, you just see that there, and again, that doesn't always necessarily mean that the stock's not going to move in your direction. Like you saw, these actually ran pretty good there. For me, like obviously I have my rules when I'm actually trading flow, so like the actual like track trades, that's why they're in the flow alerts. Like this is something that I would have probably threw in that risky flow. Like it's interesting flow because it's a bigger bid ask spread there, and I mean that is a 37, that's a 20% bid ask spread, so that's a pretty big bid ask spread on something like that. So I mean, it's definitely 100% unusual flow for sure. Yeah, that IV would have just kind of hung me up a little bit there at the end. Let's look at that other one for you there. And you said the 5.8, the 5.810 it looks like. 5.810 put. Let's see here. So we got kind of your big whale here is 1,000 contracts at 73. So like this one I like a lot better than that other one. So again, just kind of why do I like this one? So it's coming in as one of those kind of block trades. So if you've heard me talk about the block trades, you don't always get a read on those because sometimes there's not flow before or after it. This one you do have flow before and after it, so you kind of get that context there. That's kind of what I'm looking for within the flow is that context, like how that big trade is impacted impacts the IV, impacts the bid ask, so on. So here's our whale there at that 12.55.50, and it looks like kind of just mathematically, I mean, you're the same second here, and they probably put an order in there and filled some at the a little lower there, and then filled the rest at that 73 there. So I would make a very strong guess just based off that timing and kind of the mathematical sizing of this 998 plus 1 plus 1 you're at 1,000. That makes a little more sense to me than just random 998 contracts. um, I like how that IV spikes there. That spot's filling, it's almost in the mid, but it's still on that ask side a little bit there. You're technically getting that ascending fill there, and now you do have some more volume here at 1318, so about another 300 contracts. Now again, is this part of that trade? We don't know fully. And kind of that reasoning behind, you'd see that IV drop there. Your ticker's down about 15 cents or so, give or take there. So that's kind of why you're seeing a little lower IV there too, and that fill again is just kind of slightly above that ask there. It's interesting to me. I mean, they're pump or the contracts are moving 24 days, so these ones don't overlap earnings. When were earnings on this again? 519. So okay, yeah, those don't overlap earnings either. Yeah, I man, just kind of combining that with the other flow there, I'd probably lean and just kind of looking here. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of option activity on this one. I mean, puts there, and let's just kind of look when you get those big spikes in that put premium. So this is the biggest spike in put premium over the last 30 days. So I mean, you got your big spike here. You saw a little move down there again, little spikes there, and you see that price kind of tends to drop there. Again, little spike here. You haven't really seen that price drop too much from this spike though. This is a pretty big spike though today. And also you have that 417. We'll look at these two as well too. That 417 and 424. Those are your other highest volume names here. Yeah, again, a lot of these just kind of making that move already to kind of chase. Those are in the money as well. 10.5. Yeah, you're just kind of getting that kind of trailing volume on a lot of that where it's kind of one of those double check that open interest there. About this one here. That's the one we just looked at. Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of a face value look. I mean, we obviously did do some digging into that, but face value wise, I mean, that's a pretty bearish highest volume contracts there. Just on some of those, I would probably want to check that open interest tomorrow. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, good little piece of flow there. A name that doesn't get a lot of option activity. How's our gamma look on it? Gamma, yeah, I would be cautious if I'm going to hold anything long. I mean, there's a lot of kind of market makers injecting liquidity into that. I mean, that's a lot of positive gamma there. And just kind of historically, you see how when you get that big positive gamma, price will tend to quote unquote fill that gap that it makes. So, I mean, you're getting a lot of that positive gamma here. Price eventually comes up and closes that so-called gap there, and you just see kind of like that negative gamma there too. I mean, price is way up there, and it just tends to kind of gravitate into those levels there. I mean, and you just kind of see that visual history there of how it's just kind of tailing with that gamma, and even way down here. I mean, it can take a while. I mean, this is October of last year. Price almost got back down to that level. So, I mean, it can take a little bit, but like just seeing that positive gamma here would kind of make me not want to be short for too long, if anything. Just all that positive gamma kind of would concern me a little bit for the downside. And your net gamma is all on the call strikes there too. And they are on that 417 and 515 expiration there too. I mean, that is a ton of, I mean, it's all positive there. You don't have anything on the bearish side there. So I would just be a little cautious there, just kind of based on that other data. How's our IV rank look? Not too much within this one. Just kind of try to see how price reacts to that when that IV pops. So when it pops, it drops a little bit. Yeah, that gamma's a little telling for me, though. I would just be kind of cautious there, just a little cautious. Quick scalp for a day or two, not always a big issue, but just that long-term view did not look super strong. But let's pull up the chart on it here. It's just, I haven't looked at that pony chart for a long time. Pony. So let's just pop this over to the daily. Yeah, I mean, if you don't get a super clean zone on something like this, but let's just kind of draw it out a teeny bit in here. We'll kind of condense it, make it a little bit better here. So I'm just kind of drawing that zone. I mean, I'd have that kind of demand. Yeah, Bean, I got to hop off here in about 15-20, so I want to just get a little stream in. So no, we'll hang out for another 15 or 20 though. So feel free to drop some flow if you want me to take a peek at it. I didn't think we were gonna have much to look at, but hey, we kind of did. Yeah, I would kind of watch this level, that 835 to that 959 in there. I mean, that's kind of your demand support zone that we're bounced out of already. I mean, just kind of, let's see if we can, it's just an odd looking kind of chart there too. I mean, just kind of looking it over. I mean, it's, could almost kind of draw small, and it's not anything super clean. I mean, maybe start kind of drawing a trend line in there like that. I mean, you don't get a super clean, you kind of get a decent one here. Let's just kind of draw this down a little bit, as close as we can get. I would watch. So again, just kind of a very rough drawing there. I mean, I probably don't see that much resistance until we get up to that 1160-ish possibly there. And I mean, just kind of looking at that here too. Like if we get to that kind of uptrendish area here, I mean, you can see we're coming into that, it'd be resistance-ish area there too. So I mean, I'd look for that there. Yeah, no, Bean, it's been a very odd day. Again, just kind of, I'll show you after we kind of get through Pony here. That sector flow is actually pretty light volume again today. But yeah, Lauro. So yeah, I mean, I got that kind of your downtrend. I mean, your big spot that you got to kind of get over here, and it's a very clean line here now that we actually there. I mean, hey, if you were looking short on it, maybe, I mean, wait till we get up to that trend line there, because that gamma was screaming bullish there. I'd hate to tell you short, and then we pop. I mean, it's just almost a little no man's land. It wants to kind of go up. How's our volume kind of looking? Yeah, very light volume coming up on that. Yeah, just very light volume too. Yeah, just, man, if you could wait for at least, I mean, if you were bullish on this, if you could get a nice pop and take that as a momentum and maybe play that up to that 150 or the 200 day, that'd look good. But I mean, if the market becomes bearish again there, I mean, that uptrend about that 1160-ish area, give or take, depending on whenever we trigger. And it also looks like you'd get a gap fill there too. Let me just kind of zoom in here a little bit for you. Little open gap here at that 1114. to 1102, so a little gap needs to get filled there too. Yeah, no, please, I do better with questions than just kind of going off on everything. The more questions, it's a community driven stream, so I mean, the more questions, the better. I mean, they're great. I love doing it. I love doing it. But yeah, that one, yeah, I kind of hate to tell you to hold off on anything. I mean, obviously you can do what you'd want. Nothing here's financial advice, but just I'd keep an eye on that uptrend spot there, that 1140-ish area, and it's got kind of a ways to go. That 20-day moving average too. See how we close off that too. I mean, it's 1019 there, and we are on it right now. So I mean, just curious to see how that closes there because it's holding up decently there right now. Yeah, good little find there. Good find there. Yeah, no, great example. Great example there. Um, Bean, I want to show you that sector flow today. Look at our volume again. Very abysmal volume, and I was kind of showing them before you hopped in here. Look at our last. I mean, we're very close to all-time highs again. Just look at how light that volume has been on the way up there compared to that big sell-off back here. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a bullish move. It's just not a strong volume bullish move. So I'm very curious to see where we go from here. I mean, that is a nasty gap, and we were kind of talking about that because we saw these SPY puts here, the 668s there. But we kind of looked at this one, and a couple things I didn't like about this one. Just pop this back here one more time. I mean, the flow looks pretty good. You have that ascending fill here on the new computer, on the new PC. Oh, I mean, you're coming into earnings season too. You know how you've been around here a long time. You know how I feel about earnings season. It's kind of, hang out on a pile of cash and just not force anything time of year. Yeah, it's not worth it. But yeah, I mean, these puts look pretty good, and then did more come in after we were looking at that? Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, we were kind of looking at those puts a little bit. Yeah, it's just kind of that tougher time to trade. Yeah, your call premiums are picking up. Let's see what Periscope did here. So yeah, you see how we kind of bounced off that 69.50 there almost twice. So it acts as that support there. Oh, those silver ones that you took. Yeah, those silvers, I don't think anybody really traded that exact contract that I posted there, but I mean, they're up now 310, trading 350. 12, 13% on those. A lot of time on those. Yeah, a lot of that flow. I mean, it's a lot, and a lot of it's been chasing flow there too. So I mean, I'm not big on chasing. I'm not big on chasing, and I mean, it's okay. You don't have to chase flow. Yeah, it's some of the flow like you see in real time, and you're like, okay, that's definitely a buy. Some of it can be a little misleading though. Nvidia earnings flow here. MU puts coming in now. 9% out of the money. Big multi-leg 3 days out. Probably not for 9% out of the money. I mean, data would eat those things away unless you got a pretty big drop. Let's just look at that option profit calculator. And while I look at this, does anybody kind of have any last call for flow here? Because I do got to hop off here in about 5 minutes. Yeah, you need a pretty, I mean, at least a 3% drop, or probably about a percent or so to kind of get any decent profits on that. Let's see, Netflix. Yeah, and Netflix has earnings Thursday. TSM, yeah, we can look at TSM here quick for you, West. So I did have some TSM puts kind of hidden here. Again, we got earnings coming up what's today? Tuesday? Yeah. So Thursday earnings on that. Um, yeah, flow wise, I can do an earnings overview for you, but flow wise, it's probably not. You're gonna see a lot of flow, but yeah, earnings when we hit that implied move. I mean, and it's kind of a mixed implied move there. Our plus minus is only a little under 4% there for that implied move. I mean, when we hit it, I mean it's 4%, 4 reports to the downside, 4 to the upside. Your average move is a green move though. Yeah, no, that's that earnings flow like right before close is always interesting to me. Let's see how some of that flows kind of looking here for you. Oh, I got the hiccups bad now. Oh man. Okay, we'll kind of do. We'll just kind of do a kind of a quick overview on that. Oh, okay, it's not gonna let me do that. Okay, let's do it like this. So I am seeing a lot of kind of bid side puts here, longer dated bid side puts. Let me just remove some of that multi-leg junk in here. Let's see. So really long dated puts here, probably 8% out of the money. 133. So yeah, these look like short puts. So I mean, pretty good textbook example here. I mean, your IV's up here. It's an ascending fill, but it only ascends on a couple there. So just kind of looking at that IV, we get a drop, and then there's your big drop on your size and premium. These look like a classic put sell there. Your big size, big premium, IV drops there. So those kind of look short there. Let's see, I'm gonna put a days of expiration of like 5 on here. Actually, we'll do 10. Yeah, I'm just kind of doing a face value check here. I mean, I'm seeing some weekly calls come in here. A lot of weekly calls, more so than puts. And again, some of those puts were short in there. How about this guy? Yeah, goofy looking one. Goofy looking one. Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of doing that face value look here. It does seem like that's a little bullish there overall on kind of that, just on that weeklier stuff there. All right, what do I got a couple minutes left. All right, anything else? Otherwise, I'm just going to do one more kind of quick run through of that market tide and stuff. We'll just kind of do a quick value. Yeah, your put's kind of slightly dropping calls. I mean, just a very clear bullish market tide there. And we had an update here, so we'll just look at that quick. Yeah, that's not really getting any big updates anymore now. I mean, that 69.50 is still there, so you could see us maybe gravitate a little bit towards that, towards close. But all right, you guys, I'm gonna hop off here. I'm waiting for somebody to come over to do a little work, so that's why it's an earlier stream. We should be back to the normal stream yesterday or tomorrow. But thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your 45-minute trading day. Have a great evening, everyone.